Hello, everybody, and welcome back to BrokeN Boys. This is episode 209. I'm Colin,
And I'm Mike.
and this week we're just gonna talk it out, do podcast stuff.
We're gonna figure it out
Um,
through talk.
yeah, figure it out. We're gonna talk about what we listened to in the month of February, and spin a wheel at the end to see
Yeah.
whose discography we listened to. But until we get all that stuff, how was your week, Mike?
Week was fine. Honestly, don't have much to talk about when it comes to me. There were a lot of song releases and song updates that happened this week. But not really much with me, just kind of same old, working on my songs, and getting some work done on I don't remember if I mentioned on podcast or even to you. No, I definitely mentioned to you guys. But I'm working on the last song for the little project that I'm working on. But it is, a song that uh means a lot to me and one that I want to get right. So there's a high likelihood I might be obsessing over it for a sec. So doing what I
Sicko
can
mode.
there. What'd you say?
Sicko mode.
Yeah, going sicko mode on that track for sure. Huge banger, definitely. Um, but doing that, sending out applications and stuff, not for music things, but you know, to sell my soul, that kind of stuff. Yeah, things like that. But I watched a movie this week. I watched The Menu, with
Ooh,
that foodie movie from a couple years ago. Or was that? No, that wasn't last year. That was like 2023, I think. Um,
yeah, 2023, 2022, something like
yeah,
that.
it might have even been 2022. But I saw that was on Netflix also I think the same day I saw Parasite was on there. I was like, oh, I should watch both of these. And
Mhm.
I did watch The Menu, and I thought it was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Definitely a unique tone to that movie. Um,
Yeah.
but I liked a lot of the themes it had about high art in general, I guess.
Mhm.
And it was it kind of had a little bit of a silliness to it that was fun to
Uh,
watch. Um, and Voldemort, you know, it's
yeah.
even scarier with a nose, I guess. But uh, yeah, no, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was like an all-time favorite for me, but it was
Mm.
good. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I
Um,
like that one a lot.
yeah.
Mm.
And then I've been playing that Lockdown Protocol game with my friends quite a bit. Honestly, they they wanted to play that a lot this week, so I played that a lot. And you even joined for a couple sessions there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Mm.
I hope that
PC
was.
Gay Man.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm sure you'll talk about that a bit with your week, but
Mhm.
yeah, now that he's a politically correct gamer, he can, he can join in in our on our gaming sessions. Um, but
We're gonna have to talk with somebody that was there last night because he was not being very politically correct.
yeah, yeah. But that's I don't agree with everything my friend group does. Um, but yeah, that was fun though playing that. A lot
Yeah.
of it's a game where there are a lot of strategies you can do, and I'm still finding new ways to play it. Even though I have quite a bit of time in there now. But yeah, that was fun. It was good to have you in there. A lot of cameos from just friends are happening in there. It reminds me a lot of the Among Us days in that way. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, doing that, and honestly, that's really about it. Like, I really don't have like much notable that happened. I don't think. Oh, I did listen to one album as well because of my little uh pact I made with myself to listen to the most reviewed album of the year albums. And this week was "So Close to What" by Tate McRae. Um,
Oh.
I've never listened to Tate McRae before. No previous knowledge there. I actually kind of enjoyed the record though. Like I thought it was
Mm.
fine. It like in terms of like, I mean, it's definitely a straight up pop album. But you know, it has some nice production and really nice melodies that were, you know, catchy. It was a good vibe, and I was like, you know what, it's not too bad. I like it. But
Nice.
yeah, probably not something I will return to, maybe ever. But it was good. Like I liked it. Just not really for me. But yeah, that's about it. What about your week? What'd you do?
It's okay. Mostly same old, same old. Working, working. Um, we still have a broken drink machine to deal with,
Oh, nice. 1 week later.
which is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I think I talked about being backed up on by the Coke guy last week, but you know,
Being
I'm
backed
pretty
up
sure that
on
was
by the
last week.
Coke guy?
Yeah, the guy that was trying to fix the machine. I don't remember if that
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah,
last week.
you did mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So that he has not returned this week, but and neither is anybody from Coke. But oh wait, no, we did have somebody come back and work on it. He put a new screen in the machine, but and it brought back root beer, but still has two drinks that we don't have.
Bringing back root beer.
Uh, bring it back, root beer, baby. 2025.
Root beer's here.
But still haven't gotten any word on when that will be fixed or anything like that. So that's super cool. But work otherwise has been okay. Just there was supposed to be a trainer meeting on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not technically a trainer yet, but I'm in the process of becoming one. So it was supposed to be like 4 to 5, and literally one person showed up that wasn't already at work.
Awesome.
Um, which was super cool. Which means that like we didn't get to like leave work or leave to sit down in the lobby and talk for a little while. We had to just keep working while she talked to the one person that came, and we got to go back one by one and listen to her spiel, but it was still like, damn, I was looking forward to that hour.
Yeah.
But nobody was responsible, and it was funny because like one of the trainers came in with our overnight manager, just like get food and talk to one of our other managers, and like right before the meeting was supposed to start, she just left and didn't come back for the meeting, which I thought was a little silly.
Nice. Yeah.
But
Pro gaming move right there.
oh yeah. But nothing other than that too crazy at work. There was a new customer complaint that like caught me off guard, and I thought was very silly. Also on Wednesday, a lady came through once before, and then she came back around without ordering anything and just pulled up to the second window and was like, "My straw wrapper's wet. I need a new straw." Um, so like the straw was handed to her wet, and she expected to be just given a new straw, but all the straws were wet because our machine is broken, and we
Oh,
have to
okay.
like go all over the place and get make sure drinks are correct and everything gets wet and sticky in the process, so
Yeah.
all the
Okay.
straws were fucking wet.
I was gonna say
uh,
honestly don't think that's completely unreasonable on her end. But if all the straws are wet, I mean, there's only so much you could do.
yeah, and it's also just the fact that after my coworker told her that, she just and
Oh.
closed the window, she just kind of sat in the drive-through, mouth agape, uh, throwing daggers with her eyes at all of us, and we
Yeah.
were just kind of laughing at her. But I just think it's silly to, you're going through the drive-through, you think, just take the wrapper off the straw. If it's a little wet, it's a little wet, whatever. I would
Yeah.
never pull back around and get another fucking straw because my straw wrapper was wet.
I
Um,
mean, depends on the level of wetness, I think. I
it's
don't know.
also like, they're not paper straws either, so it's not like they would. It's not
Yeah,
like you know
it's
they're
just
disintegrating or anything.
it's just one of those
It's a
things where
little
you never know
gross.
what it's wet with.
True.
Especially,
True.
if it was a random McDonald's I went to and I got a wet straw, I'm like, I don't know if someone just like put that in their mouth potentially or something like that. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that argument in like a lobby if you're coming inside, but like through a drive-through, like nobody's
Yeah,
doing that
maybe
probably.
I don't know. Probably
Uh,
I don't know.
but yeah, it was just like that was a new one. I was surprised by that
Yeah,
complaint.
yeah,
Um, but um, and then on Friday after the pod, I got my coworker came through with my PC. So now
yeah,
I'm a PC gamer.
yeah.
Um, and I had quite the time setting it up. I had all of my components, my keyboard, my mouse pad, my monitor.
Hmm.
I was so ready to just set it up and get going. Um, but I plugged my monitor into the HDMI port. No connection. Wasn't turning on.
Oh,
Monitor was turning on, but there was no video. And I was like, huh. And there's two HDMI ports, so I tried each one. Neither of them worked, so I was like, oh, is my monitor fucked up? So I plugged it into my PlayStation, and it worked fine. Um, and so I texted them, both of the people that worked on it, and I was like, hey, what am I doing wrong? And my coworker Garrison was like, there's your. I was like, he was like, what'd you try plugging into? I was like, the HDMI ports. He's like, that's where you're wrong.
oh.
I'm like, what? He's like, you got to plug it directly into the graphics card.
Oh,
I'm
what
like,
the hell?
oh. So there's like two other HDMI ports in the middle of the PC, whereas the the base two are like in the bottom left corner of the tower.
Okay.
Um, and so I plugged it in completely fine after that. So I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I got on and I was like, cool. I open it, unlock it, and the screensaver that they put on, they went on Google Maps and found the front of my apartment building and made that the screensaver.
It's really
um,
funny.
yeah.
Getting
Um,
doxxed as soon as you open your new computer.
so I and then I was like, I'm gonna go through downloading all my stuff, get this all set up, be a cool PC gamer.
Yeah.
And I was able to download some things like Steam and and Chrome and things like that. But
Uh-huh.
I tried to download Epic Games and Minecraft, and neither of those were working.
Mm.
And I went to them with that problem, and they were like, "Well, what?" Like that? Because also the the Minecraft download on the Mojang website was like, you need Windows Store to download this, and I was
Mm.
like, okay, makes sense, Microsoft, whatever.
Right.
But I tried to go to the Microsoft Store, and that was giving me an error message as well. Uh,
Interesting.
so right, and I was connected to the internet. Ethernet was good and everything, but it just wasn't connecting to those things. Wasn't letting me download the things I wanted to download. Um, so I went to like the Microsoft support and waited a good like 25-30 minutes for somebody to be able to help me
Fun.
in there. Super cool. And then the guy, his name was uh, Ankush.
Okay.
Ankush. He he was like, okay, I'm gonna need to take control of your computer just to like see if I can get it done. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I sat here for another hour or two. Yeah, it took a very long time. He was like, maybe not an hour or two, maybe like an hour or 15 or so. But
Still,
he was
yeah.
just like, yeah, he was like going through, and like he ran like a PC health thing, and at the end of the PC health uh like screening, it was like, so your GPU does not support Windows 11. Um,
Oh.
and I was like, that's weird because the computer's running on Windows 11, but um, he was like, I'd contact the manufacturer of your PC or whatever, and I'm like, okay. And I was talking to the to my friends who gave me it anyway during the process, but uh, they were like, Ricky was like looking things up, and he was like, what's the? Because when I got the PC, it was also set to like Eastern time or whatever, so I
Uh-huh.
changed that. But he's like, what's the region set to on your PC? And I was like, world. And he's like, change it to US. So I changed it to US, and then I was able to do everything.
Oh, you were just getting
So
locked out by trying to be Mr. Worldwide, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, I guess so. But like, it was just like such an easy fix, and that was like a 2 hour experience of me trying to figure it out myself, figure it out with them, and then get Ankush to help me.
Yeah.
But it was just like, man, I'm not built for PC problems because
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
not
uh,
either if it's any solace. Like, I mean, we kind of talked about it a bit in the game, but like I get help from my friends with that all this stuff
yeah,
too. Or my brother, he's really good at this stuff also. Vince helped
yeah,
me a
but
lot
it's
when I was at the apartment. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I'm just like, I've always been a console boy, so
Yeah.
and that stuff is like pretty much just like unplug it, plug it back in, and then it should be fine.
Yep.
Um, but this is like there's so many different components, and it's like I don't know anything about any of this shit.
Yeah.
Um, but PC's been good. I've been having a good time with it. I'm pretty much been glued to it since I got it,
Yeah.
just because it's like a new shiny thing, and I'm excited to have it. So I've just been, playing Fortnite on it, getting used to that, all
Hmm.
the different, mouse and keyboard compared to controller. Um, I've been playing Papers, Please,
I
which
saw
is a
that. Yeah.
classic. Yeah, yeah. I have access to all this stuff in my Steam library that I had like 10 years ago
Hmm.
almost. So it's like I haven't been able to play all this shit or see any of this stuff for a long time. So it's like,
Yeah.
and Papers, Please. I'm like, hey, that's a classic. I loved watching Jacksepticeye play that back in the
Yeah.
day. And it's still good, still fun. Um, and I was Ricky also had like a bunch of Steam keys that he wasn't using, so he sent me a list of some of the stuff he has.
Oh, that's nice.
Um, yeah, and I I chose out of the list he sent me. I chose Death Stranding, Kingdom Come
Ooh.
Deliverance, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and Civ 6, I think.
Oh,
But
Oh, don't let us hear that.
well, it would be okay, but the Death Stranding code didn't work, and then he said Civ 6 was out of keys at the moment, so
Uh,
for whatever service he uses. So unfortunately, I don't have Death Stranding or Civ 6, but I've been
yeah.
interested in Civ 6 at least. Um,
I mean, if you have
I
something
don't,
that could potentially run Death Stranding, it sounds like you got some pretty good parts in there. Daniel and I have been trying to figure out what you have in there, what you got on you.
yeah, I have no idea, but
Yeah,
it's it runs Minecraft, not Minecraft, it runs Minecraft yeah well and Fortnite well,
those are
and it
good
looks pretty
signs.
good.
Yeah,
So, I don't need anything crazy, but it's just cool to have something that I can play all these games that I haven't had access to. And um, I downloaded like Hitman Absolution
hmm.
uh, and Sleeping Dogs, which I remember having a lot of fun with back in the day as well.
Yeah, both
But
classics.
yeah, but yeah, it's been good. I listened to a couple things, which I'll talk more about. But I listened to "Prelude to Ecstasy" by The Last
Ooh,
Dinner Party,
okay.
finally, and I also listened to "God's Favorite Customer" by Father John Misty.
Oh, okay.
So I'll
Both
talk
albums
about
I've
both of
heard before.
those.
Yeah.
Yes, both were good, but
Nice.
um, but then another big part of my week for some reason is like I've been Pokemon has been piquing my interest
Mm.
as of the last week or so.
As of getting your Microsoft PC.
Yes. So I've been watching this guy on YouTube, Alpha Rad,
Oh yeah.
who's he's friends with Jaden Animations and a bunch of other people who love Pokemon, and he plays like Nuzlocke and stuff, which is like a special run through of Pokemon games. And he's just got like a good personality, but like
Yeah.
I've been really hankering to play a Pokemon game. And I have a couple for my Switch, but I want to play more like the ones that I had when I was like first getting into Pokemon, like decade or so ago, more than a decade ago now. But you know, I don't have a 3DS anymore, and I don't know how to emulate safely. So,
Fair.
But you know, I think my coworker, my friend Garrison, was like talking about having some sort of thing that could help me, but we'll see. But there was also like a Pokemon Nintendo Direct thing yesterday that like they showed off the next Pokemon game, and it's set in the region that my first Pokemon game was set in, so it's pretty cool and nostalgic for me. I'll be excited to play that.
Yeah. What was your first one?
It was Pokemon Y.
Oh, okay, cool.
In I think it came out in 2013, which I saw that and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That I thought it was like 2015, 2016, but no, that was middle school.
I mean, my first and only Pokemon game was Pokemon Black, and I'm a little
Yeah.
scared to look up this. 2010, which was 15 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, I before I didn't have a DS or anything, but
Yeah.
I got when I was getting into Pokemon, I watched this guy on YouTube. I think his name was Pyro. I don't know if he
Cynical?
still makes no. He was this Irish guy that like he was playing. He did a playthrough of Pokemon Y, and I was like, oh, this looks very fun. So
Yeah.
you know, I went to Black Friday with my mom that year, and they had the Nintendo 2DS had just released, and it was like the cheaper alternative to the 3DS, and it was like $75 on Black Friday, and I was like, and my parents that year had a pact not to get us anything video game related, but it was like $75, and my mom was like, I mean, okay, so. And I wasn't allowed to have it till Christmas, but I was just like, well, now I get to ask my dad's family for, DS games.
Absolutely.
And that's where I got Pokemon Y. But those Christmas parties are before Christmas, so I got it and I had to act like, oh, why did I get a DS game? And on Christmas, I opened my DS and I was like, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. That makes more sense.
You see your Pokemon game? That's why. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
thank you. We make jokes here on this podcast.
Today. But and because I got that the 2DS, my dad was like, well, now I have to get something video game for everybody fucking else too. So he that's how we got the Wii U in the house.
Oh,
so
yeah.
But just a little lore for you. But
I think I only ever had the normal DS. I was always jealous of the ones who had 3DS and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with a Game Boy SP, the one that flips out and is blue.
Okay.
And I have nostalgia for that, like crazy nostalgia for that. But
Sure.
but up until and we grew up with the Wii. We had about 3 or 4 Wiis because they kept dying on us.
Oh my god. Were you doing like
but,
the red Wii of Death or whatever?
Pretty much, yeah. Like it just like would stop. I think we like played them to death because we were just on it nonstop forever.
Yeah.
But and then I got the 2DS and was super excited to have like a new handheld. And then like when I think for my promotion from middle school, my dad was like, "I'll get you the new 3DS XL," and I was like, "Hell yeah!" And so I had a 3DS that I could play 3D stuff on. And, I'm just a Nintendo fanboy. I love that. Love those guys. So,
yeah.
but yeah, that's basically my week and the last decade of my life.
Yeah, yeah. Good little rundown. We were
um,
saving the last decade of your life lore for episode 209.
yeah, I just figured the people would be interested.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's what this podcast has been leading up to.
all of it was filler up till now.
Yeah, yeah. The climax was me making that Pokemon Y joke.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. It
Cool.
didn't nothing too crazy this week. So
Yeah,
other than the PC,
yeah. I
and
mean,
Lockdown Protocol, I forgot to talk about that as well. But that was very fun.
yeah.
Um, had a good time. Every time I got to be the bad guy, I fucked it up in some way. So
It's okay.
um,
That's why it's fun when there's two of them too, because sometimes if you mess up, your partner can say for you that maybe they did
mm.
something. But yeah,
But yeah.
yeah.
Um, you want to talk news, or do you want to do a monthly roundup?
We could talk some music news first, I guess, real quick.
Mm.
Um, quite a bit of new announcements and stuff like that. First one I have down is Quadeca is he's very much straight up teasing now, but like it's like we're getting imagery for Vanisher. There's like this really cool photo of like him at like this lighthouse and like it's like framed really cool, which looks like it could be an album cover. And
Ooh.
he's like starting like this website and like this private account called like X something, nothing to do with Twitter. And yeah, he's like straight up teasing at this point. So it's happening soon, Vanisher.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah.
ooh yeah. We got a new Black Country New Road song coming on Monday as well, called "Happy Birthday." As you can see, Colin is repping the "Forever How Long." Uh,
Yeah.
with the little money emblem, making him look like a straight G. Um, but yes, looking forward to that, of course. We have new announcement of a new Little Sims album coming this year. It's
Yeah.
called Lotus. It's coming out May 9th. And the lead single Flood was released. Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I listened to it.
What'd you think?
That was a cool vibe. It reminds me of it was one of the songs off of Sometimes I Might Be Introvert.
Mm.
Let me see here if I can find it. Sometimes
Was it
I'm pretty sure I had it as my song of the week
yeah, was it
that
Fear
week.
No Man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like the talking, spoken word kind of stuff,
Yeah.
interspliced with her, rapping and such. I liked it though. I thought it was a cool vibe, cool little introduction to what she's gonna be doing on the album.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it as well. I think the general vibe of it is pretty cool, has a cool atmosphere. I do feel like the vocals are like really quiet on it, which is
Mm.
it feels intentional to an extent, but it's also like kind of hard to hear Little Sims on it, which is a little, you know,
Yeah.
hard for a Little Sims album, I guess. But it's still good though, and I'm looking forward to that for sure. Um, then we got also an announcement of an album I really liked a couple years ago now, from a group called Model Actries. They're like a post-punk, dance punk type group. They have an album coming out May 2nd called Pirouettes, and they had a lead single come out called Cinderella that I really liked. I really like the song a lot. It's got that darkness that the band has, really weird stuff, but then also kind of a really danceable and catchy chorus that goes along with it. It's a really cool contrast that I like a lot. Um, and then the last one I have in terms of like singles and stuff like that, By Storm, which is the group of Injury Reserve, minus Grogs. They released what I believe is going to be a lead single. I'm pretty sure, called Zigzag, which is like the 7 minute, really another strange song, but you know that makes sense from based off what they've been doing recently. But I like it. I think it's pretty cool. It's very abstract, almost even more so than by the time I get to Phoenix, I would say. But it has an interesting vibe to it that like is intriguing, and I'm interested to see how I feel about it in the context of an album, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, yeah, a lot of singles and announcements this week.
Yeah, there was also a new Joe single
Oh, what was there?
uh, came out, yeah, called Delicia, which I'm assuming you haven't listened to by that reaction,
Yes, I
but
didn't know about it.
but I liked it. It's kind of in the same vein as the last song he released, but it's I don't know. It's got like a nicer kind of stripped down acoustic ish vibe with a nice guitar throughout it. It's still Joe, but it's like it's just a little different than what he has released in the past. But I enjoy it. He's got a nice sounds nice on it. I like the hook. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that record as well.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then yeah, I think that's all I have for music.
I have a piece of music news, I guess.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing going on this week with Bia Badoobie. Um,
Oh,
did you not hear about this at all?
I think I heard about her talking about her toxic male fan base and people getting
Yeah,
upset about it.
honestly, it's a big thing that just really got out of control from what I can tell. I didn't look into it like super much, but basically a lot of people were talking about the Bia Badoobie crash out, and then
Uh,
people like Moist Critical, it seemed like they got interested in it because they were just like, who in the fuck is a Bia Badoobie? You know, like yeah, just the what you hear all the time from Bia Badoobie. Um,
right.
but basically, what it was like this meme that was posted, or like a trend that was going on TikTok, I guess, of like it was like artists who can sing or artists who can't sing versus artists who can sing, and then
Uh,
the can't sing it was Bia Badoobie singing or whatever, and then the second part was like NBA YoungBoy, but they put like opera music over it, so like a very obvious meme,
yeah.
but she hadn't actually seen the meme. She just saw people in her comments typing artists who can't sing or something like that, and then colon being her. Um, and then she like made a video like saying like, "Oh, all these toxic men in my comments," talking about
Uh,
whatever. And basically, it was just like I think it was a little like dumb of her not to like look into it, I guess, of what they were actually referencing or something like that. But at the same time, she wasn't necessarily making bad points. It was just it was a big blow up over nothing. People calling it a crash out. I'm
miscommunication.
like, yeah, miscommunication. Crash out is just like not at all what was happening. A crash out is what Kanye is doing,
Right. Yeah.
and has been doing for the last few years. I should point out. But yeah, it just dumb little drama that won't have any bearing in like a month from now. So
Right. Yeah. I saw. I think I saw the original like meme,
yeah,
but then and then I saw her reaction calling her male fan base toxic, but I didn't look farther than that to be honest.
yeah,
But super cool. Love that.
yeah. Just yeah, stupid.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. And in other news, um, the like video game, There's a new Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I assume more remasters of other Tony Hawk Pro Skaters, maybe 3 and 4,
Yeah,
coming soon. There's like a website up for like the beginning of March. So a new announcement coming next week, I think. So
cool.
that'll be cool. I had a really good time, I think, in 2020 playing the first Pokemon Tony Hawk Pro Skater remaster, and that was a big part of my I think the end of the year more. I think it released later in the year. Um, but that was super fun, and I'm looking forward to playing more of that.
Nice.
Um, there's a new Monster Hunter that released today that I want to get my hands on, but I might have to wait to spend my money on that. Uh, and then in movie news, the Oscars are this week. Well, we'll
Oh.
see. We'll see who wins. Hoping for some Dune 2 and Nosferatu wins there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Timothy Chalamet won his first like major acting award this week at the SAG Awards for his Bob Dylan movie.
Okay,
And
I was expecting it to be for Dune, but okay.
nah, his major like Oscar push has been for the A Complete Unknown, which
Interesting.
uh, which he seems passionate about. He said he worked like for 5 years or something perfecting
Right.
the character and everything, and getting the singing down and stuff. So, and then like in his speech, he was like, "I want to be one of the greats. I want to be like when people think acting, I want to be like the LeBron or the Kobe of this stuff like that. He just wants to be the best at what he does." And like people got online and were like, "That's so fucking bratty. Why would he say that stuff?" And it's like,
Sorry that
what?
someone can't be passionate about what they do and want to
Right.
strive to be the best that they can.
Yeah. Um, but it was just silly.
Yeah.
But forget all that shit because yesterday something major happened in the movie world, Michael.
I think I know what you're talking about.
The teaser for Shrek 5 dropped.
Yep.
um is super fucking exciting and a major W.
Yeah.
Uh,
We love W.
um, yeah. Uh, but after a decade plus of no Shrek movies, no mainline Shrek movies at least, we got the first teaser. And the animation style is different, and then people are complaining, of course.
I mean, I won't lie. I've never been a Shrek fan. I thought that teaser was pretty cringe. I'm not gonna
It was
lie.
a little
Yeah.
cringe, but it's that trope of like fucking using. Oh, let's put a phone in this. Let's put TikTok in this
Yeah.
to get in with the younger crowd. But it's just I just think it's cool that this movie that has been teased or like talked about or in the works for God knows how long. God knows
Yeah.
how long Jack's Films has been going on with that fucking with that bit.
I feel like 10 years at this point.
Yeah. Um
Just for
it's
the bit.
it's yeah, it's just cool that it's here and Zendaya's in it. Um and that's gonna make everything better. But
Yeah.
I think it's cool that they're bringing back the old cast, and it doesn't come out till next Christmas. Well, not next Christmas, but 2026 Christmas.
God damn.
Um, yeah. So animation takes a good little bit of time. Uh, but people were not very happy with the animation style difference, which is like they're not going to use like the early 2000s CGI animation anymore.
Right.
And while that stuff doesn't look too bad, even still, I'm glad to see a more stylized approach. The way that they did that, the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish movie, was
Mm-hmm.
beautifully animated, and
Mm-hmm.
if it's anything close to that, I think it's very cool. But
Yeah.
just major news and waves in the movie world. There was Shrek 5
I hope
being
that
teased.
teaser wins an Oscar this week.
It better.
Yeah.
It better. Uh,
I guess.
best
Oh, sorry.
best actor, Mike Myers for
Yeah.
Shrek.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that when I say that it was kind of cringe, I more so meant the content. I don't really care about the animation; it looks fine to
Yeah.
me. But the content itself is what I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Um, it's just we'll see how that goes next fucking year.
Yeah,
Um, but
basically 2 years from now at this point.
yeah, literally. Um, and then in some uh political and political adjacent news, the Epstein flight log files for the Epstein Island crazy um pedophile sex trafficking ring
Yeah.
were teased to release, and then on I think yesterday when they were supposed to release, the official White House and GOP accounts on social medias posted a link, but the link led to uh, Rickroll.
That's pretty
So
funny.
just
I wonder
Just
whose idea that one was.
oh, I who fucking knows? You know,
Could have
it
been anyone.
could have been anyone.
Yeah.
Maybe the king of memes. um,
Yeah.
he's living the meme. But you know, just super cool of the uh, internet of the national federal government um,
Yeah.
making light of pedophilia and sex trafficking. Super cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, when our president was a well-known friend of that person. Yeah.
yep, and his name was on the flight logs, but
Hmm.
because there were some, I only saw like a little bit of that have released names on it, but you know there was some usual suspects like Donald Trump uh, and Kevin Spacey and things
Yeah.
like that. But uh, you know, no Jay-Z from what I saw. So you know,
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't know if I don't think that his allegations were based around Epstein Island or anything, but just like his own personal life.
Yeah.
Um, but and I haven't heard anything about that in recent times. But
No, from what I've heard, it sounds like I don't know. It sounds like people aren't believing that story as much. Like
mm,
I don't know any of the details, but apparently there's holes in the story or something like that. I don't
mm,
know. No
okay.
say. I don't know.
I don't know. I just you know I saw him at the Grammys with Beyonce, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
um, all right. Uh, but then another thing, President Zelensky of Ukraine came to America and the White House to talk with Trump and Vance, and an actual like yelling, screaming match happened in the Oval Office between the three of them because two of them were being extremely stupid towards Zelensky,
I wonder
and
which
just
two.
like I wonder, uh, and just like you know saying that you know spouting lies and stuff about how Russia is conducting their business and how Ukraine should just instead of waging warfare upon Russia to you know attack it with diplomacy.
Mm,
Um, and President Zelensky was just like, dude, this shit's been going on for 3 goddamn years.
yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do at this point that we haven't already tried? Um, but you know, but like now it's like, and Vance was like, you haven't said thank you one time to our president. You've been very disrespectful to this country, and Zelensky's like, I've said thank you multiple times. You know, I hope for good ties with America and Ukraine, and I hope for help, more you know, continued aid and help. But you know, I've said thank you, and I'm just you know sitting here trying to convey to you that it's not you know this is not how you think it is in between Russia and Ukraine, and just like you know Trump was pretty quiet for a lot of the clip that I saw, but he got on Zelensky about being disrespectful to America and to him, and it's like, buddy, come on.
Yeah.
Just you know, super cool stuff.
Yeah.
More more Trump doing tricks on Putin's penis,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but yeah, I haven't seen anything super cringe from Musk this week, but I'm sure there has been that I just haven't seen.
Aside from the Rickroll.
Uh, Aside from the Rickroll, that you know was yeah definitely his idea.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Not to point
but
fingers or anything.
no. Not to draw an X
Mm-hmm.
on that spot. Mark,
Right.
you know, X marks the pedophile
Mm-hmm.
Nazi. But well, I don't know. He hasn't been accused of pedophilia, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all the news I have written down here.
Fun. Yeah.
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 Um, but you know, we listened to some stuff in the month of February. And how many albums have you listened to this
I
month?
have one, two, three, four, five, six. I have six here.
All right. Well, if I do all of, I mean, if I chunk Bruno Mars into Are you chunking Bruno Mars into
Oh,
one, or are you...
I forgot to write down Bruno Mars. Wait, how did I forget to do that? Um, yeah, I'll probably chunk them all into one.
All right, then I have, I think, one, two, three, four. Okay, I have five too. I have five.
Did we not talk about Bruno last month?
I'm pretty sure it was at the beginning of this month,
Maybe it was because I
very beginning.
have these. Okay, yeah, yeah. We can do that real quick.
Oh, wait. Maybe it was the end of last one.
Yeah, it was like right on the cutoff. Um,
Okay, yeah, I think it was the end of last month. I was reading my notes correctly,
okay. Yeah,
so I have four then.
yeah, four. Okay, cool. Well then, yeah, I think we could just go every other one, and I can start, and that should be close.
All
Um,
right.
Cool. Okay. Well, the first thing I listened to this month was Cowards by Squid. Squid is a post-punk band coming from the same scene as Black Country New Road and Black Midi. And I've listened to their stuff before. Hasn't always been like hugely my thing, but I still like them. And it's kind of the same story for this one. It's not completely my speed, but I do think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here, and some really great songs in there for sure. Probably some that'll show up in my year end list potentially. But the album as a whole, not completely my thing, but still pretty cool. I like the opening track, Crispy Skin on there. I like the title track, Cowards, and I think I remember liking Showtime quite a bit as well too. But yeah, pretty good album. Not really my favorite, but I have it at a light 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
First thing I listened to was Eusexua by FK Twigs. And I haven't revisited it, but from what I remember, it was like a very interesting area of music for me. I think it reminded me, at least at the beginning, it reminded me of a very different off the beaten path version of Magdalena Bay, from what I
Mm.
remember tying my feelings towards that too. But but I did enjoy it. It was very interesting. There was like some cool glitch pop stuff, um, kind of artsy a little bit, but her voice is nice, and there are a couple tracks on there that I enjoyed quite a bit. I like Sticky, which is like the first song that like made me go whoa. Um, but the title track, and I think Perfect Stranger, I think I liked too.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a good album. I enjoyed it, and I'll probably return to it. But it was just it was interesting and weird. And for now, I gave it a late 8.
Cool. Yeah, I think I even said when you listened to it the first time that that's one that grows on. At least to me, it grew on me quite a bit. Each time I listened to it, but
Mhm.
yeah. Cool. Next thing I listened to was Some Sexy Songs for You by Party Next Door and BBL Drizzy. Um,
Oh.
it was pretty boring and not very sensual for an album released on Valentine's Day. Very sleepy. Um, and yeah, I didn't really have too much to say even after listening to an hour and 15 minutes of this album. So, not the worst thing in the world, but I'm not very good. I have it at a decent 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
Uh, next thing I listened to, another finally here, was Alligator Bites Never Heal by
Mm.
Dochi, and yeah, I'm glad I finally got to it, because that one was kind of a long time coming, to be honest. Especially like because I think I started listening to it at the beginning of the year, and then I never returned to it, and then she kind of popped off more, won a Grammy, and
Yeah.
she's rocketing into the stratosphere at this point. But I really really like the vibes of this one, and this is more of like, I know it's a mixtape, but it feels like a pretty cohesive album. A lot of the tracks are shorter, Most of the tracks are shorter,
Yeah.
honestly, but it's all pretty cohesive, as I said, and just like there's a lot of really good stuff on here. Her energy is great. Her charisma is super potent and like present. But like songs like "Boiled Peanuts" and "Denial is a River," of course, are fantastic. But like some other kind of styles for her to reach into, like Nissan Altima, were also super good. But it's just a really really good album in general, and I'm really really excited to see where Doechii goes from here, because she can only really go up, I think.
Yep.
And I think right now I gave it a solid 8.
Cool. 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 Yes, I'm also very excited to see where Doechii goes. But next thing I listened to was Windswept Adan by Ichigo Aoba. Ichigo Aoba is a Japanese artist. Um, her genres are singer-songwriter, contemporary folk, chamber folk, ambient, that kind of stuff. It's very relaxing music with just a really pretty voice at the center of it. Very soothing, and I don't know. It's just something I've been consistently coming back to ever since listening to it about like midway through this month, and I've been very much enjoying it. And I think I might even boost my score potentially. But right now I have it at a strong 8, but I could see it maybe going into the 9s. It's one of those that it almost feels like a comfort album in a lot of ways, in a similar way to like Nurture by Porter Robinson in some ways, just like the vibe in general. But yeah, really liking that. Her new album just came out last night. I did not listen to it yet, but I will have that for March probably. But or yes, for March. Jesus, it's already March. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I have the album at like a strong 8 right now, and some of my favorites are Pilgrimage, Sagu Palm's Song, and Dawn and the Adon. Uh, very very great tracks that I'm liking quite a bit. The whole thing I'm liking
Hell
quite a
yeah.
bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I liked Pilgrimage from last week. I liked
Yeah.
that pick. Um, but the next thing I listened to was Prelude to Ecstasy by The Last Dinner Party, which you really liked from last year.
Yes. Around
Yeah.
this time last
Um,
year. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. Um, but I just never. I think I tried to listen to it once before, but I never caught back onto it. But I was like, I was looking for something to listen to. I was like, that one I know people have been enjoying, and especially Mike has been enjoying, so I'll check it out. And I also, surprise, really enjoyed it.
Hey.
Very like it's very like their own thing. I can't think of anything to really compare them to. It just reminds me of like rock ballads and things from that my dad likes, from like the 70s, 80s
Yeah.
and stuff.
It's kind of ABBA-ish.
Yeah,
I've kind of gotten. Yeah.
yeah, I can see that as well. But their presence is also like very very good. I like they all work super cohesively together, to make some really cool music. It's cool to see like a rock, quote unquote rock band, composed of women.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's super cool. And kind of out of nowhere. I don't know if they released anything prior to this. They probably did, but
Uh,
um,
they did get a lot of industry plant allegations thrown towards
uh,
them, but you know what? Even if that's the case, I'm okay with it. The music's great.
yeah, it's not some like shit music that was just thrown to
Yeah.
satisfy the masses. This is some like well thought out, well written, well performed stuff, and I really enjoyed the sound of it this week. Some of my favorites were Caesar on a TV Screen,
Mhm.
Beautiful Boy, Sinner, Portrait of a Dead Girl. Um, and I think On Your Side was also good, but the whole album's really good, and I think I'll be returning to it quite a bit because I really enjoyed the sound of it, and I gave it a strong 8.
Hell yeah. And just as a reminder, the guy who produced that album is producing the Black Country New Road album, so
Oh hell yeah.
that's the album that made me go like, oh, he's gonna do really good with Black Country New Road for
Yeah.
sure. Um, But yeah, that's a great one. I'm glad you get around to that. Cool. Next thing I listened to was Tir Na Nog by Maruha. It's their final EP before they're going into their uh, to an album. And yeah, this one it's basically one long 22-minute piece, very similar to like a Godspeed You Black Emperor type vibe with just long droning instrumentals, a little bit of free jazz and stuff, but it has that signature, dark sound that they do with like the really bright and beautiful saxophones and stuff. But it's a really ambient and slow piece, and it's cool. I like it quite a bit, and there's really blissful moments in there, especially in like I think it was the second track "Doe" and the last track. Oh God, "Set Hair." I don't know. This is all like I don't even know. God of War language. But um, what is Norse? Norse. That's what I'm
Nordic,
thinking. Yeah,
yeah.
Nordic Norse. But yeah, no, it has great moments. It's probably my least favorite project that they've done so far, but I've also loved both of their projects previous to this. So it's still pretty good. But very much looking forward to an album. But I have it at a
Mhm.
light 8. I think it's a nice little thing if that sounds interesting to you.
Yeah. I mean, I have liked the stuff that you've chosen from them as
Yeah,
well. And I'll probably check out the album when it drops. I think that from at least Thunder, I'll enjoy
yeah.
what they have to offer. But the last thing I listened to, like an hour or so before we started recording, was
Fresh off the press.
God's fresh out the presses. God's favorite customer by Father John Misty, who I don't really have any experience with. I think I tried listening to his album from a few years ago when it dropped, but I never got through it. And really, I've only known him by name since then. So I was interested to check out this record that I think you've talked about and I've seen the album cover for.
Yeah.
Um, but I was pleasantly surprised by what I heard. It was folky, kind of chamber pop stuff is within his genres and subgenres that he has for this record at least, and he's got a very nice voice. It's very very well produced. Some very good writing and stuff. And I'm a sucker for like folk and singer songwriter type stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this is a good guy to look into for more of that. Uh, so I had a good time with this. I'll probably be returning. There were a couple tracks that really stood out to me. Uh, One being "Please Don't Die,"
Hmm.
and I think the songwriter as well. Uh, but honestly, it was just a good like melancholy, uh, fucking like soothing time. I was playing Minecraft while I listened to it, and
Mm.
it's just a nice vibe. I liked it a lot,
Yeah.
and I'll probably return to it and check out more of his stuff.
For sure. Yeah, that one and the oh wait, what did you rate that?
Oh,
Or I know you
solid
listened to it
eight.
an hour ago. Solid 8. Okay. But that one and Chloe in the Next 20th Century or whatever that album's called.
Yeah.
Those are like two of his lower rated albums, and those are the two I've listened to. So I also need to check out some of his other stuff.
Mhm.
But that album in particular, I think I've mentioned before. There was like, I think it was in 2018. I just had this random spurt to like listen to a lot of new music for the first time, like ever.
Right.
And that was in the same time when I listened to Historian by Lucy Dacus. But I
Um,
also somehow came across the Father John Misty record, so I actually have like a lot of nostalgia for a lot of those songs at this point. But
mhm.
yeah, that's a great album. It's been a sec since I've listened to it, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then my last couple here don't have much to say about really either of them. But first one is Reflections from the Vaults of Smoke and Mirrors by Imagine Dragons. A lot of B-side, or not B-sides, but demos from the Smoke and Mirrors era. Although apparently, according to a lot of the comments and comments that I received on the album of the year, a lot of these demos also come from later in their career as well, like even as late as the Mercury albums. which I think is a little disingenuous to label them as uh, demos from Smoke and Mirrors when they came uh,
Yeah.
like 8 years later. um, and some of them it does explain quite a bit because a lot of these songs sound really bad. They're not. Most of them do actually. Would not recommend looking into this project unless I don't know you enjoyed the band at one time or you're morbidly curious or something. Um, but I thought they have one song on there called "Destroyed" that I was like, there's some potential there. Um, and yeah, I gave this a light three. And then
High praise.
high praise, high praise. They do have a song on there called "Woke," and I think it was written before that word got abused. It was actually one of the better songs too, but yeah. Anyways, I just thought that was funny. And then the last thing I listened to was "So Close to What" by Tate McRae. Like I said, never listened to any Tate McRae before, but I thought it was a good vibe and honestly some catchy pop music. Had good choruses. Her voice wasn't like the most pleasing thing in the world, but also it worked all throughout. Like it kind of feels like a lightning in a bottle situation. Like I couldn't see myself loving much of her stuff, but I thought it was good. I thought this sounded like a good version of her sound, even though I don't really know what her sound is. But yeah, no, it was fine. I enjoyed listening to it, and I was kind of surprised by that. And I liked the tracks "Dear God," "Purple Lace Bra." I think I liked, and I don't know. I'm Revolving Door. I think I may have liked. I don't entirely remember, but I enjoyed it, and I gave it a light 7. It was fine. It was cool. um, and yeah, that's about it for me.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, that's what we listen to in the month of February.
It
But
sure
I
is.
assume that we can spin a wheel to see what the
Well,
first artist we listen to.
usually we do a song of the week before we spin the wheel, but
Oh, do we? Do
yeah,
we now?
yeah,
All right.
only for
We
the
can do that
last
first then.
like couple of years. But, yeah.
Okay. All right. Chill out, buddy.
Okay. Gets a PC and wants to change the format of our podcast. No, but yeah, we could definitely jump into song of the week though, and
All
I am
right.
up first. And like I was saying, I really enjoyed this new single from Model Actress. And a little bit of a weird one, might be poisoning the well for some, but I really like this song a lot. So I'm going to go with "Cinderella" by Model Actress.
Than I did before. I can see how my power.
All right, that was "Cinderella" by Model Actress. What'd you think of that, Colin?
I thought that was interesting. I don't remember exactly what the last model actress song that you chose sounded like, but um, I thought that this one was pretty cool. I will say at the beginning, the way in which he was singing and the music was going, I was like, it reminded me a lot of Guess with Billie Eilish
Oh,
a
I could
little
see
bit.
that. Yeah.
um, but I was reading along with the lyrics and stuff. And just it was interesting. I like the beat a lot. I like the way in which he was singing and stuff. But I don't exactly, like I said, I don't remember what the last one sounded like, and I don't know if this is different for them. But I like this direction.
Yeah, it's kind of more like a natural progression of the last album. I mean, I would say this. Yeah, I mean, they literally are marketing this on Instagram as their brightest, most danceable songs yet, and this is the lead single that they have.
Uh-huh.
But it kind of plays into the strengths that I like a lot about this group. From what I've heard, is that they have like that really dark post-punk energy with like a weird dancey, rhythmic feel for those verses. But then like the chorus, like is like it has like kind of this genuine like beautiful nature to it, like in a weird way, like the way he sings and like that like distorted chord that like kind of keeps coming in and out in the
Oh yeah.
chorus. Like it's just like a really cool contrast of like light and dark that they do for me that I like quite a bit. And I don't know, love the rhythms on that track. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that album, me personally. But yeah, cool.
Well, since there's already a couple of Last Dinner Party songs I figured I'll go with something by Father John Misty.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with "Please Don't Die" by Father John Misty.
All right.
All right, that was "Please Don't Die" by Father John Misty. What'd you think, Mike?
I thought that was a great song. Like I said, it's been a sec since I've listened to that album. And I remembered the content of that song. Like I was gonna say concept, but there might be a real story there. But yeah, I don't quite remember it being that depressing before. Like I was actually getting a
Yeah.
little emotional reading some of those lyrics, remembering all that kind of stuff with that. And like I said, there's a little bit of nostalgia attached there too. And he's just singing his heart out on that song. And the warm kind of folky country vibe of that track is just really helps sell the message and everything. It's a beautiful song. I love that song.
Yeah, when I first listened to it, I just thought it was super beautiful. Like the way he sings across it is just super heartfelt, and it feels personal from the lyrics and the way he's singing. So,
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about Father John Misty, but um, you know, he makes some very pretty and very heartfelt stuff from what I've experienced in this album. So,
Yeah.
and for what I have experienced as well, it was reminding me kind of like of Rhett's music,
Oh yeah.
the Human Overboard and James and the Shame type beat, just like the country-ish folk
Yeah.
uh, type music, and um, I vibe with it. I'm having a really good time listening to it, and would love to hear more from him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think that song is written, at least the chorus part is written from the perspective of his wife, like sending a message to him,
Uh,
you know.
that makes sense.
But still, yeah, just a little tidbit there. If I remember correctly, it's been a little while, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean that makes sense from what I was reading and what I was listening to. So,
yeah,
um, but now we can jump in. Pardon my
yeah,
pardon my my flub there,
yeah.
but
Getting a little antsy
uh,
over there.
if you want to explain what artist
Oh,
analysis is.
oh, I would love to. So, artist analysis is a segment that we do every 5 episodes on this podcast, where we take a look at every single album in the discography of an artist, and we listen to them all in a week, and then we give all of our detailed thoughts in an episode titled "Artist Analysis: the artist." So but we always choose this by spinning the wheel of artists that we have made. So I think we can spin that wheel. Got a couple new ones in there this week. So
Yeah, I omitted some longer ones because I don't know what my week's gonna look like next week. But
that's fair.
I got some new stuff. We added Fiona Apple, Father John Misty, and American football in here.
Cool.
So yeah, we'll see. Let's spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel. I love how much NF sticks out. All
I
right.
know. Oh,
uh, two different vibes here. Okay.
all right. Rage Against the Machine.
We love the toss up between Carly Rae Jepsen and Rage Against the Machine.
Very much so. Rage Against the Machine has 4 albums, I believe.
I believe
If I can spell it correctly. Yep, 4 albums.
Cool.
Very cool. I've listened to 2 of them.
I've listened to one. So
All right.
yeah, next week we will talk about from the self-titled to Renegades. That's that big song that got popular on TikTok, I think. So
Yeah, that was a great Fortnite emote.
yeah. But cool. That should be a good one. I'm sure that will be great fuel for your working week this week.
Oh yeah.
So cool. Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to that. So
Oh yeah.
we will do that next week. But before we do that, unless do you have anything else to add on this week, Colin?
No, do go on, sir.
I will go on. I will get on my soapbox and go on. If you are, well, audio listeners, love you to death, of course.
Of course.
Thank you. It was a cough, but thank you.
No.
Um, if you're listening on streaming services, we appreciate it. We love that. Give us some 5 stars, if you ever so desire. But you can also come on over to YouTube where you can see so much more, including our beautiful profile pictures of. I'm still schlab for right now. I probably should change that. And Colin is the dripped out, forever how long dude.
Oh yeah.
Looking like $1,000,000 over there.
Big Fortnite gamer, that guy.
Absolutely. Love it. First-hand experience, I could tell you. Um, but yeah, you can come check out that. But also in the description, we have links to a whole bunch of stuff. For instance, Song of the Week, that segment that we did right before spinning the wheel. We have playlists for all of those songs. So we've done that for basically every single one of these 209 episodes. So you can find playlists down there for me, and one for Colin, and one for both of us combined. And all the guest artists. Well, we have one guest artist. Guest artists we've had on this show. And yeah, in those playlists you can find "Please Don't Die" by Father John Misty, or Cinderella by Model Actress. In 2 of those 3 places. So go check those out. Give them some love. If our 2 picks this week didn't tell you enough, there's a lot of variety you can find in there. So yeah. And we have some personal stuff as well for me, myself, and I. I have music under the name of Plaintive. Like I alluded to earlier, making music, doing my best. Yes, that came out of nowhere. Yeah, if Colin's excitement didn't show you enough, you gotta check out your Plaintive lore. Catch up with Coping Mechanism there, as well as the student soundtracks that are there too. Catch up on those in preparation for the EP. The EP won't make you EP. And I also have thank you. Colin gets a little unhinged once he has access to a soundboard he can hear. I also have an album of the year page where I rate and review music. I have an Instagram. I have a YouTube channel where I post little piano covers and other stuff. I have a TikTok. And,
Another one.
Is there another one down there? I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But go check those out. But there is another one in terms of my relation to you, dear viewer, which obviously I am. Man, you know me. Well, I'm not even sure if Colin will get this imagery, but the imagery for Vanisher by Quedeca so far is a big lighthouse, and
Yeah, I did see that.
yeah, that's me. I'm on top of a lighthouse. The
I'm on top of the world.
and I'm singing that on top of the Quedeca Vanisher lighthouse.
Quonka's favorite song.
Yes, inspired his entire career, one may say. And yeah, that's me. And Colin over here, he runs our socials. One of them being our Twitter page, where he updates when videos are posted, as well as any other things that need to be updated, as well as our TikTok and Instagram pages, where he posts funny clips of us doing silly little things on our silly little podcast. And yeah, go check those out and give him some love. But he also has some personal stuff too, and he deserves love personally as well. So go check out his letterbox where he rates and reviews movies. He didn't mention anything, but did you have anything up there this week?
No movies this week, I don't think. No, I didn't.
That's
No
okay.
movies.
That's okay. You gotta catch up on your column letterbox lore, of course.
Yes.
There's bangers in there. I've seen some of them.
Oh,
I use letterbox every now and then. And he also has an album of the year page where he rates and reviews music. And Colin, what is your relation to our dear viewer?
Well, in the vein of movies and the light and your lighthouse standing, I'm gonna be much like our dear actor friends Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson in The Lighthouse,
Friends of
which
the show.
I've seen. Yes, I've seen some of, but not all of. Um, and I'm going to come out there in my 1900s black and white clothing and talk like a pirate, much like Willem Dafoe does in that movie, and tell you, hey, get off of me, lighthouse! You damn seagull! And I think there's something about them disliking seagulls in that movie,
Something like
and
that.
and of course, our dear viewer is the other lighthouse attendant as
Robert
well.
Pattinson.
So
Yeah.
yes, he's going to be slightly more confined, but more, but still passionate about the fact that he wants you to get off the top of the lighthouse because that's dangerous. So, you're gonna make your way down, and we're all gonna be worried for your safety and happy that you're back down. And I'll be like, "Would you like to engage in a love cage?" And
It's like a riddle.
answer me these questions 3, and you may get your own love cage for free.
Oh.
But yeah, but the way we're gonna do this is Robert Pattinson, our dear lovely viewer, is gonna be in the middle. I'm gonna be in front of him, and Mike, safe from the top of the lighthouse, will be behind Robert Pattinson, and we are going to hug him from in front and behind. And I'm going to look Mike in the eyes with a little tear in mine, happy that you're safe and not at the top of the lighthouse anymore. And
Not singing Imagine Dragons anymore. Yeah.
No, thankfully that too. That was the worst part. And and I'm gonna say, give me a smooch, and we're gonna have a nice little smooch right next to Robert Pattinson's head. And you know, while we're engaging in this love cage, that's what this is called, a love cage. And if you'd like your very own, dear viewer, all you must do is drop your address in the comments below, and we will find you. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you, and you will get your very own love cage. So drop that Eddie.
Of course. Pronto.
Pronto.
And yeah. I don't know. I probably shouldn't be saving this for the end of the episode, but I just thought of this. Did you know that there is a real legitimate picture that exists of all like together? There are Death Grips, Robert Pattinson, and Beyonce just all posing together in a single photo.
I know about Robert Pattinson, but I did not know about I didn't know about Beyonce in that picture.
Yeah, it's a wild picture. I just thought of that for some reason.
That's insane. We also didn't talk about the death of Death Grips.
Oh yeah, that's right.
A couple weeks ago, but you know, too late for that now. Rest in peace.
Yeah. All right.
You know, come back next week and we'll talk about Rage Against the Machine.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.